Welcome to Kiki and Kibbitz, Love After Lockup edition. My name's Brianna, and I'm here with my co-host, Mary. Wave, Mary. Wave to the nice people.
Waving
but
to
as
the
you
nice
can
people.
see, look who's on our podcast today. How awesome is that? See, I'm so nervous I can't even speak. We've got Lacey and Antoine from this season of Love After Lockup. Welcome. Hola.
What's up?
Oh, yay. I'm so excited we're interviewing people on West Coast time finally, because I end up getting at the butt crack of dawn all the time to interview people. I'm so excited you're here. Thank you.
Thank you for having us.
So everything cool? How's your day going?
So far, so good. We're just kind of like, it's just kind of like a lazy Sunday.
We just got up like an hour ago. Like we barely.
Shut up.
Yeah, so
You weren't sleeping all that time.
Oh, so jealous.
Well, we stayed up till like pretty late, you know what I mean, till like 4, 5. So.
Wow.
Pillow talk.
Okay.
Okay, cool. Okay.
Okay, so let's just start in with the hard-hitting questions, because I'm like the reality TV version of Barbara Walters or something.
You're like the hard-hitting reporter here of
Yeah,
the two of us.
exactly.
So go ahead, Brianna, go right in.
So here we go.
Okay.
What made you sign up for this show?
It was just like so honestly, one of my homies in prison, like he was doing another TV show, and he was like, "Hey man, they need people. Will you call them?" And I called them and just told them, you know what I mean? Like they asked me questions, who I'm with, and just told them my story pretty much. And they were just like, "Oh, well, you're going to be better for this show." And then they just kind of shot me to the production, like the casting team for Love After Lockup. And
This is the very first time, and we've done like a million cast interviews, that it was actually the person in prison that initiated it. That's really unusual.
Yeah.
Yeah. So how long until they called you, and were you shocked?
They call they messaged me off, you know, JPay, which is like where you email and whatever. They messaged me like right after I talked to the lady about that other show. I don't even remember what it was. It was about like getting released and having roommates and shit like that. So right after I talked to them, and they gave it like a couple of days later, I got an email from someone from the casting for Love to Lockup. And just over like a probably 2-month period, we just did casting and interviews. And
Yeah, like right away, he was like, "Oh, somebody's going to be calling you." Well, at first he's like, "Would you want to be on Love After Lockup?" And I kind of thought like, "Oh yeah, sure." Like I didn't really think anything would actually happen, you know?
Did you know the show? Were you familiar with it?
I mean, I've watched it. I mean, after like we started talking with them, then I started really watching it. But
before that, had you heard of it or
I
anything?
mean, I've heard of it, and I'd watched it like here and there, but
yeah,
I wasn't like super familiar with like all the different seasons and all the different.
Yeah. What about you, Antoine? Had you seen the show before
I
this?
think I might have seen it like once or twice, like a rerun or something, but
Yeah.
not really ever more than that.
If you're in prison, are you allowed to make money off the show? Because I remember, didn't someone say something like they couldn't? So
No,
once you're out, though, it's all good, right?
Well, even for this show, like the Love After Lockup, they can't pay me. They could pay her money to her, but like if we do like a spinoff show or whatever, then they can put some money in my name or whatever.
And that's because you can't make money off of something related to your conviction, right?
I don't know how it works. I don't know the actual real legal reason why. I just they just told me I'm burnt. You know what I mean? Like I can't get it in my name. No.
But you were still down to do it. How come? What did you think?
I wasn't really worried about it because I mean I planned on actually staying with her and being with her anyway. It's not like it's not like I planned on like getting out and not being with her, you know. So
I'm glad for that, because you seem really nice, Lacey.
I'm pretty nice.
You seem pretty nice.
Thank you.
Yeah. So in fact, so on the last episode, you said something about, you said, Antoine is the man of my dreams, which is so sweet. I'm just curious, what is that about this man here, besides his obvious good looks, that made you feel like he was the man of your dreams?
You know, I just feel like we have a really good like chemistry, and we have a lot of fun together, and I'm able to like be myself with him, you know. So I just feel like there's nothing like I can't talk to him about, you know.
Is he understanding? Like, is he, when you say there's nothing you can't talk to him about, do you mean like he's very accepting, or do you mean like he's very interested and he's involved with what you?
Both. I feel like both. I feel like really, because like a lot of people will just kind of like listen to you and then whatever. But like, you know, he pays attention to like all the important things, and I feel like he cares.
That's awesome.
Now, Antoine, what do you love about Lacey? Is she the woman of your dreams?
I just feel like, you know, what a big part of it too is like when you're in a situation like being in prison, you know what I mean? It's so easy to jump ship in a way, or, you know what I mean, not be there, or like tell you they're gonna be there for you, but in just a matter of a couple of months they leave, you know? So like that alone, you know what I mean, is a huge thing to where like when she stands by your side the whole time, and you know what I mean?
So she's loyal.
Yeah, you know what I mean? She makes
Mhm.
it to where like she doesn't want your time to be bad, you know what I mean? So that alone right there is a huge thing, and it's just the person she is, and how, you know what I mean, I know at the end of the day that she really loves me, you know what I mean? And when you know that whoever you're with really loves you, you know what I mean, that's just it just goes a long way.
Was it hard to adjust when you got out though? Because at least on the show, and I'm sure it's like this microscope kind of lens, but it looks like, okay, now I'm out. How do I negotiate this relationship? How do I connect with my friends? How do I balance all this stuff in real life? That looked like a challenge.
Well, yeah, because we're two completely different people on how we live our lives when we're out here, you know what I mean? So what's normal to me is crazy to her, you know what I mean? And like,
Yes, I do.
you know,
Yes. Yes.
I know
yes, we do.
exactly what you mean on this one.
yeah, so that's what's hard, you know what I mean? It's still
Yeah.
something I'm still dealing with now, you know what I mean? Because even, you know what I mean, what my friends, you know what I mean, do is for fun or whatever is not what she would even think about ever even doing in her whole life, you know? So
Is that okay with you, Lacey?
I mean, it's who he is, but you know, like we're learning to, you know, you got to come together. So, I mean, I know that he's not gonna like, I knew he wasn't gonna like get out of prison and be this like perfect person, you know, like it's like molding, you know, and we're kind of like, you know, basically taking each other's, you know, how we live and like trying to like meet halfway, right? But it was
Yeah.
really hard because, you know, we had this relationship in prison while he's in prison, and then we were just like trying to get comfortable like being together, and then, you know, plus he had been in the hole for so long, and then actually being on TV, so you can't really like
Yeah,
know.
you don't even know what's real at that point, right?
Right,
There's so many
right.
artificial constraints being
Yeah.
put on it. So yeah, you were in a hole. That actually, when you talked about that, I was kind of shocked. That must be insane. It's like psychologically damaging. It's kind of shocking that someone could be in the hole for that long.
Right. How
It
was
wasn't-
that
so
for
it wasn't
you?
that long straight, you know what I mean? I did
Okay.
over 2 years in the whole this prison, but it wasn't straight, you know what I mean? It was
Yeah.
like 9 months here,
That's still a long
and
time.
then like
That is a
out
long time.
for a couple months, and 6 months, and 3 months, 4 months. So it was just like yeah, and then my last 6 months they kept me in the hole, but then 6 days before I got out, they let me go back out to the general population just because they're supposed to like get you ready. But then even when I went out, we were on lockdown because of COVID. So really we were still, it was pretty much like being in a hole, but having a cellie with you. So because you're still in your
Yeah.
cell all day long. So for my
See,
last
I don't even want to go to parties now after COVID. Like, I'm like, so I
Yeah.
totally feel you on that. Like, the social anxiety thing, like out prison, like I understand, but man, that must be really, really intense as far as adjusting.
Yeah, most definitely, because it's just like you get used to being by yourself, you know. So
Yeah.
and I'm a lot more socially awkward than I was before you know what I mean, before I went in.
Totally can imagine that. And what's that like for you, Lacey? Are you sort of an extrovert? Do you like to hang out with other people?
Yeah, I'm super social, and I'm also really emotional too. And, you know, like sometimes, you know, like talking with him about certain things, you know, he's not as emotional. And, you know, like he finally said, you know, like I've just had to be a certain way all this time, like, you
To
know,
survive
like
it.
you show your
Right.
feelings and you can't, you know, so you know, that's been another thing too, you know, that figuring out with each other as well.
Yeah.
But yeah.
So, have you negotiated that balance yet? Like on the last episode, it was a little bit of conflict as far as he wants to go see his friends. And
Yeah.
then you go with your sister and then he comes back and like this whole, it looked uncomfortable. Of course, they have you under this microscope. I have a feeling like, look at me and my husband. Like, I don't care who you are. That's gotta be like, make you act weird and anyone could take your shit out of context. But
Right, because it's like they take all these things and then there's so much that we don't even like that they don't even know, and then they play, like 10 minutes
one little clip.
and then they pick it and whatever. So yeah.
But Antoine, have you been able to sort of negotiate that balance at this point where you feel like you know how much time to spend with Lacey, you know how to spend time outside, with your buddies?
Yeah, for sure. I'm not like running around all night like I used to, or you know what I mean, like doing shit like that. So I've calmed down a lot than like how I normally am. Like if I wasn't with her, I'm normally running around all the time, so I've been able to bring it down a whole bunch to try not only because I wanted, but also just like to show her, this is what it is,
Yeah. You're a lot older now too. I mean,
Yeah.
this changes for all of us as we get older, right?
Exactly. Self-growth.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly.
Sure.
So Mary was interested in finding out more about your
Right,
mom.
Lacey, I wanted to ask you, how
Oh.
long were you friends with Christy when you started writing Antoine?
I mean, me and Antoine met before he went to prison.
Oh, okay.
Oh, I didn't realize that.
We
part.
didn't realize that. Okay.
Yeah. So we met before.
And like when I got out last time, like, oh yeah, we got out last time and I met her then, and then whatever, we quit talking and I went to prison. I was in prison for like a year. And then I asked my mom to let me get her number.
Oh, because on the show they said like it sounded like
Right. They
Christy had said you would love my kid, write him.
That was
That's
that was right before I got out last time. That's what
Yeah.
happened.
So when he got out of prison
Ah.
last time, me and her were friends, and she was like, "Oh, my son's home. You got to meet him." It was more like that. It wasn't like,
Oh,
"Oh, hey, my kid's
okay.
in prison. You gotta." Yeah.
So how long had you known her for?
I think we became friends like 2015, 16, maybe.
So a little while.
Yeah.
Yeah. So how long were you guys writing to each other before it turned romantic, or were you crushing on him before he went to prison?
I mean, we had like messed around before, and so like, there was always like,
Ah,
yeah.
I didn't know that.
Yeah.
They
Yeah.
didn't say that on the show.
Yeah, they didn't say that on the show.
Expose,
Interesting.
Kiki
Well,
and Kibbitz.
I explained it in like the interview, but they only take
Right, certain parts, and they put
however
it.
they
Yeah.
want. Yeah.
Right,
Yeah.
right.
So,
Oh,
but yeah, so so he just like called
Okay.
me, and we were
So you
Oh,
had a
yeah.
thing together.
right. So you guys had a
before-
thing together
Yeah.
before he went in. Okay,
Yeah.
interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Interesting.
So then he called, and it was kind of like, "Oh, how you been?" Whatever. 'Cause we
Right.
didn't, like talk, but we were cool, So yeah, and then we just started talking more often.
I was just very surprised as a viewer. And again, I know that what you see is not necessarily what happened, but it sounded like she was encouraging you to write to Antoine. But once it got serious, then she didn't like it anymore, right? Was that like an edit, or was that like, when
I
did
mean-
that go bad?
He didn't really like encourage it, like, "Oh, hey, start talking to my son now," like while he was locked up. Like he hit me up, but I feel like to a certain extent, like once we did start getting more serious, because it was really important to me you know, because I was more friends with her, like, hey, are you cool with this? Like, I asked her like a lot of times because that's where my loyalty was, because she was my friend, you know, like, oh, does it bother you? And she was always like, no, no, no. But yeah, I feel like, you know, once we did start getting more serious, I feel like she was kind of like not so
Like not so
happy about
against
it. I
it.
don't know. Yeah. I
Yeah,
mean, she would
I
always
hear
say,
you.
yeah, but you know, just like, yeah.
You know, Antoine, like your mom looks like she went through some stuff being filmed on the show. Was that hard to watch? Like when she's like, she said, my son is a savage.
Yes, well,
did,
she says
did that
stupid
hurt your
things, but-
feelings?
Nah, I mean, she says stupid things like that all the time, you know what I mean? So it's like, and she be forgetting a lot of shit she does say, so a lot of times too. So like, I don't really like hold a lot of shit like,
He knows how she is. I think it like
Right.
hurts my feelings more than his,
yeah.
you know, because he knows, you know, like he's, you know, like dealt with her for, you know, longer than anybody. So he knows like,
Yeah.
when-
So
But it's
you
crazy-
didn't take it
It's crazy
personally.
too. My mom was never, my whole life, my mom was never like that. She never drank. She never done no drugs, no nothing. So this is all since I was in prison last time, since like 2015, that she's really started drinking, you know what I mean? Or we're doing
That's
whatever. So
intense.
yeah,
That
so
is
it's like,
intense.
it's not even, like I got out in 2017 and I was out for a year and I dealt with it then, but like, so that's really it, you know what I mean? And then I went to prison for another 3.5, a little bit longer. And so it's like, but yeah, most of my life, she's never been like that.
So man, she got cirrhosis quickly, huh?
Yeah.
Because my dad's an alcoholic. He's like 83. And I mean, he's a bad alcoholic and he still doesn't have like full on cirrhosis. I bet it's genetic. There must be like a genetic component. How is she?
She's all right. I mean, she's the same, just dealing with the same things, you know what I mean? And it's just, you know, it's just like any addiction, you know, with anybody, it's just hard to, you know what I mean? Hard to get through it and stop. But I mean, it is what it is, you know?
Yeah.
I think that's really hard.
Yeah, it's
stuff.
hard.
I do.
It
Yeah.
is really hard to stop.
And have you been able to patch things up with Christy, Lacey?
Me, I mean, I try to, I don't, you know, I don't want to, obviously, you know, like have problems with
Yeah.
the person I love's
Mhm.
mom, you know,
Yeah.
Of
but
course.
I just feel like she's really, really like, you just never know what she's gonna call with when she's drunk, and she's really like, I feel like she's just a hateful person when she's like that. So, it's just
I wish
hard.
I could say I have no idea what you're talking about. But yeah, we
I was
both
gonna
have like
say,
some
me
serious
too,
alcoholics in our
yeah,
life.
like-
Yeah.
Unfortunately, yeah.
Yeah, so my whole thing is I just try to just like not really talk to her or anything, because it's not really gonna get anywhere, you know, while she's drinking.
Yeah.
Exactly. Just don't engage. It's not going to get you anywhere.
Yeah,
Lacey, do you have any children of your own?
I do.
Are you guys still planning on having kids?
We would like to.
Cool.
Is it okay to ask how old your children are? I understand if you don't want to tell us. Some people feel weird about
Yeah,
that.
I mean, I just don't want like my kids on anything.
Of course.
Of course.
They really don't want to be a part of it. But yeah,
Sure.
my oldest daughter is 18. I have a 16-year-old son, and then I have a 11 and 10-year-old. So I have 4.
Oh my
Oh,
goodness.
Wow.
Damn, you look good, girl.
You
Thank
do,
so
girl.
much.
What is your secrets?
I try to eat healthy. I don't like really work out or anything like that, but yeah,
You look amazing.
thank you so much.
Okay, so random question. How would you feel if one of your friends started dating your oldest kid?
You know, I feel like, you know, if my son was an adult, and I guess it would just depend on the person.
Yeah,
You know what I mean?
yeah. My kid, I have a kid in his 20s. I wonder how I would feel. I just can't quite imagine it. I can't wrap my head around it, but
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I guess it would depend on, you know, like how the person is to make that decision, you know. If
Yeah.
it was somebody who was like like a friend who's not, you know, real responsible, and, you know, then I would probably, you know, not be okay with it.
It'd be weird though.
Yeah, for
It
sure.
would be weird for you too, huh, Antoine?
No, I'm just saying, I know she would think it's
Yeah.
weird. 'Cause, I
Yeah.
mean, it
Yeah.
is not normal.
My son's 16 now, so it's hard to really
Oh,
think.
the 18-year-old is a girl.
Yeah.
How would you feel about that? Oh my God.
Yeah. I
Can
wanna
you
be-
imagine? I don't know why we think it's different for boys and girls,
Yeah.
but still, I would freak the fuck out.
Right.
Oh
yeah.
my God, I
Different
would freak the
story.
fuck out.
Yeah. It was, yeah, that's rough.
That is rough.
It's rough, period. Like I don't know why is it so rough when your kids start dating? I don't know. My kid's getting
We've been
married.
there.
I know.
Yeah, right.
We don't want to think about our kids dating or anything like that.
Yeah. Or people's
hate
other
thinking
thoughts
about
about
that.
our kids.
Exactly.
Yeah, definitely. So are you guys married now?
We are not.
I always have to ask. Most of the time, people are like, watch and see. Finally, someone answered my
Yeah,
question.
finally somebody
That's awesome.
answered.
Well, we're not supposed to answer that. Shoot, I hope we don't get in trouble.
I hope the same for you. I do. Are you engaged?
We can't tell you.
Nah.
He said no.
Yeah, no,
Don't
we're
worry.
engaged.
Yeah.
We don't got a
But you-
date plan. We don't got a date planned or nothing.
But you're still together. I'm happy to see
Yeah,
that.
we're together.
Obviously.
We're like, you know what I mean? That's the plan, you know what I mean? Stay together and whatever. So we're
It's
just
good to
not,
take your time. There's no freaking rush. Yeah.
yeah, we're not even thinking about no marriage or nothing right now. Look, my mom's never been married. And I've never really thought marriage was like a big deal or nothing like that. So,
Are you working?
and I'm not right now. No.
So, I mean, that's kind of important too. You know what I mean? Like getting your life back on track and having everything be normal
Right,
again.
exactly.
Things. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
Do you
but
get-
we live together. I don't know if we already told you that, but yeah. And that's just kind of like where we're at right now. No, we're still like getting in the groove of a normal.
Did you put your name on his car?
No, he got a car on his own.
Good for you. Good for you.
Good for you.
Cool. So that makes the whole job thing a lot easier, right?
Yeah.
I still don't have
exactly.
a license yet, but I'm
Yes.
getting there. It's just I have some court things just from old stuff, like, and that's what sucks too. Like that thing that came out, I want to clear that up. Like I didn't
What
get
thing?
like how they said I got arrested again.
Mm-hmm.
That's bullshit. Like, so they're making it sound like I went out and caught new charge. That's a 2013 case from.
So it was something like, what was it, Mary? You
It
found
was
it.
it's that he was arrested on March 1st for negligent driving
Yeah,
or
so
something.
that negligent driving is from 2013, and I've had misdemeanor probation for that charge since 2013, but I haven't been able to do it because when you're in prison, that probation time doesn't run. So like, it's just been continuous. So even when I got out of prison last time, I had a warrant for that. So that's pretty much all it was a probation violation from 2013 that. But I mean, yeah, so they made it sound like I was already out catching new charges, and it's not like that. It's old stuff that I'm going to court for. I just went to court for it, last week, 2 weeks ago, and finally got that dropped. So I'm done with that. I don't got to deal with that no more after 9 years. So it's just like, yeah, they make it sound like they don't know that I'm going to court and getting this shit solved. Like, so that's just like, they make it sound like I'm out here just catching new charges and fucking doing shit like that. So it's just, yeah, it's not what it is at all.
Yeah,
Are there
like,
sorry,
he
go on.
went to court like his first full day out. He went to court and to get like things set up.
Sucks.
So he can take care of that stuff so he can get his license, because that was like one of the most important things to him.
Right.
Yeah.
So when he went to one of his first court dates, the They booked him for a day.
Because I'm sorry, because I have two old cases that I'm dealing with. And so when I went to the other one, so when I first got out, I had to go to the courthouse to get new court dates. So when I went to court on one of the ones, the judge was like, oh, he has warrant for this other one. And I was like, well, that court's in a couple of days and I had to go, I have a court date coming up, but he wasn't trying to hear it. And he booked me right there. So I didn't even leave booking. We bailed out right then that day, $500. I had $500 in my pocket. And I called her. I was like, hey, I got the money right now. I just need you to go post the bail. I'll give you the money as soon as I walk out the door. So she posted the bail and I gave her the money. And yeah, I bailed out right away that same day.
So do you think you'll get your license soon then?
I got court on the 10th. And I just pretty much, I got to get that resolved. That's from 2018, right before I went to prison. I caught like a driving unsuspended. And I just got to get that dealt with, and then I can get my license back.
And at that point, is like you got your life back, right?
Yeah.
In a sense, yeah.
Yeah.
Because I mean, I'd be driving. Look, I don't drive a lot, but I've been driving around here and there, and it's just, driving without a license is sketchy, you know what I mean? So you just gotta. It'll be a lot better once I can get it back.
Yeah. What kind of work do you do, or do you anticipate
I've never
doing?
really had a job. I had a real job when I got out last time for a few months working construction, but I've never really had a real job. I mean, I've always just, done illegal shit. So.
He's basically, been in prison his entire adult life. The first time he went to prison, he was like 18, and then he was out for like a year. Yeah. But he just did this class. And he got his flaggers certificate.
What's that mean?
Like for
construction,
like roads,
the construction flaggers who like do the stop and go signs and shit like that. Yeah.
You have to get a license for that?
You gotta get a certificate, yeah.
You do.
Wow.
Yeah.
Because it's the Department of Licensing, because it's road stuff.
Right.
Oh.
So yeah. So he went to a class, so he has that. So he has, like something when he gets his license that he can go to.
Yeah.
For the time being until I find something better.
Cool.
Yeah.
So Mary, you
That's
had
the thing,
some
I never
work
really worked a real job, so it's not like
yeah.
I don't really no.
Well, if you had to choose something that you might aspire to, like, do you have any sort of hopes and dreams or anything?
No, I mean, eventually I don't know even exactly what kind, but eventually down the road, I want to try to open up a business and like eventually I want to, be my own business owner and shit like that. But it's just, I don't really know. I haven't dialed in exactly what I want, but I mean, that's eventually a goal later in life, you know what I mean? Is to do that, open up a business and get it to where, I don't want to pretty much work to where I'm always hurting, you know what I mean? Like paycheck to paycheck, I don't want to do, and because that's what happened last time. I wasn't making enough money, so I got bored and I started selling drugs again. So it's just I need to be able to find.
You could
something.
open a cannabis club.
Yeah, but that's just
There you
so
go.
much-
You live in Washington.
There you
so
go.
expensive to do when you go the legal route.
I know,
like
it's
that,
really
so
expensive. Yeah.
it's like
Oh,
$500,000 that you need to get on loan just to be able to start doing shit like that. So it's like that's so expensive to try to do. Believe me, I've looked into it. Like it's so hard to go legal with marijuana, and it costs.
I know it's highly regulated.
I know it is highly regulated,
Yeah.
very
so many
expensive.
tax. You gotta pay so much
taxed.
taxes and
The
all this shit.
taxes are insane.
They are insane. I'm starting to realize how insane. the
Yeah, because
taxes
see,
are.
they just went recreational in New York where Mary lives. I'm in
Yes.
California, so to me, this is all normal. But they charge like 20% tax or some kind of like,
It's crazy.
and it's like that in New York too.
Yeah, it is. It's like 15% or something. It's crazy. It's
Yeah.
crazy. Yeah,
Yeah, it's pretty intense. It's a highly regulated
it is
industry.
highly regulated.
Yeah.
So have you guys seen any of the fan feedback on you guys or any of the social media feedback?
A little bit. I try not to look at too much because I get in my feelings.
I think it's funny.
You don't have to tell me.
Same here. Same
Even
here.
on our podcast, we start freaking out about that. Yeah.
I think it's funny. I don't really let it get to me. Like, even from the jump, I told her, I'm like, I'm not gonna see like any of these people. I'm not gonna see them ever in real life. Like I don't really care what they think about me, you know. Like at the end of the day, I'm gonna do me, you know. And I'm not
There you
gonna. I
go.
don't let it get to me like that. I just laugh at it. It's funny, you know.
Is that the
That's-
same for you, Lacey, or you just have to avoid it?
I try to avoid sometimes. I mean, like I know like what's real and what's not real, like you know, from the show, and so
Yeah.
some things it's just like whatever, like you know. But people be mean. I'm like I just don't
I
get it
know.
because
I
could never go out of my
know.
way to be mean like that. Like damn.
I know. I posted a response the other day with like, you know, we're actual people and we can read this, right?
Yeah.
Like, would you say that to my face? You know
Right.
what I mean?
Like, are you kidding
Real.
me?
But
Seriously.
it's like, thank you for like having such a strong opinion and thinking about me so much to where you really want to go out of your way and
Right.
you know,
Right? Like,
type
gee,
up
That's
thanks.
why I make Mary answer all of the fucked up
Exactly.
messages, and she just types, "Thank you for your feedback. We appreciate your viewership." Like,
Thank you for watching. Because
thank you for watching.
yeah, I always
Bitch.
just say stay blessed.
There you go. Stay blessed.
I like
Stay
that.
blessed.
Yeah, that probably drives them insane.
Yeah, people are mean.
So do you get recognized a lot in public? Like
Well,
when you
lately
walk
it's
into the
been-
grocery store?
That happened yesterday. We
Like-
were literally walking inside and this chick had her little case of White Claw and she's like, haha, I just saw you guys last night.
lately it's been happening a lot, like a lot more, like everywhere we go.
We went to the casino and this like guy walked by and he's like, fucking love after lockup.
Wow. Do you like that or is it uncomfortable?
I just keep it pushing. Like I don't even stop. She'll stop and talk to him. I just
Yeah.
keep pushing. I
Well,
don't-
this-
But Antoine, are you uncomfortable? Because I know like the social anxiety thing is real.
yeah,
So
I
like
don't
people know about you and they know
it
your
might be
name.
why. I just I don't even give them really conversation. I just laugh and be like, hey, and then I just keep pushing. Like it's just it's not me. It's not my style.
But like, there was one time this chick got off of her slot machine and she's like, oh my gosh, you guys. And I didn't know what she wanted. And then she's like, oh, you guys are on the, you know, he just kind of kept walking. And I wasn't going to like walk off in the middle of her talking, you know. Oh, yeah, you know.
You didn't want to be rude, right, Lacey?
Right. I didn't want to be rude.
Yeah.
I wanted to acknowledge them. They acknowledge us.
Yeah, I mean, it truly is, but still, yeah. So do people, what would you say, and this is especially this question for you, Antoine, what is the biggest misconception that people have about you?
I don't even know. I don't know.
I feel like the biggest thing is like, he's just so disrespectful
yeah.
and ungrateful
Yeah.
and he's a piece of shit. And he's definitely not that. And, you know, like I kind of wanted to do the show. Like the reason why I agreed to do it, and I thought, well, he wanted to do it was one reason. But the other one was like, I wanted to show people like, just because someone's in prison doesn't mean they're just like a piece of shit to society. You know, like he's like a real person and he's like, you know, an amazing person and he's super funny and he has a super big heart. But they didn't really show that. So, yeah. So, you know, and obviously they only know what they see in the scenes and stuff like that. So, you know, that kind of bums me out. But I think that's the biggest misconception.
Yeah.
Anybody who really knows him knows that he has like a super big heart, you know, and he's super loving and sweet and funny and he's all right.
I'm glad to know that. Good for you. Stay cool, man.
Yeah, stay cool,
Stay
guys.
blessed.
Yeah, stay blessed.
Stay blessed, yeah.
Yeah. So Mary, what are your other questions for these nice
And
people?
I think we pretty much covered everything.
Cool. Is there anything you want to tell the viewers?
Yeah, do you have a message for our viewers?
What's the message here?
I think I just said the
Yeah,
message.
Okay,
we
don't
just
judge
About
by
him, you
yeah.
know?
we appreciate, you know what I mean, all the fans, you know what I mean, and all the love and support, you know, and it's just, yeah, it's cool, you know what I mean, we like to, you know what I mean, be there for them when we can, you know, and answer any questions and, you know what I mean, tell them what it really is, you know what I mean, because, yeah, people get misconceptions all the time, you know, so, just so that's why even on like we have an Instagram account, people will message us, we'll reply back to them and tell them, you know what I mean, whatever. And just we try to stay in contact and do what we can, you know.
Good for you. Well, I hope you'll stay in contact with us. And
Yeah,
if you
most
want to come
definitely.
back on the podcast, if there's anything you want to clear up,
Yeah.
we're happy to open
Yes.
our microphones to you.
That's good. Thank you so
Yeah,
much.
we appreciate you
it.
guys.
Thank you.
Thank
I
you,
hope you have a
guys.
great rest of your day.
Yeah,
All
you
right,
too.
you too.
Thank you so much.
Bye.
Thank you. Bye.